But I'm just going to give it a couple more minutes while people join us. So, welcome to Nail Down Your Niche. This is some, and let me just also just acknowledge that recording the event, it's a free event. I record these events and I make them available to the registrants and send them out to the people who have registered for the event, and may use parts of them for marketing purposes. If someone is on video and wants and perhaps engage with me one-to-one, I'll ask permission before I do anything to
turn your mic on.
So let me just mute people. I was going to mute you. You're welcome to unmute. Okay, so nailing down your niche. So thank you all for joining me today. Today, I'm going to talk to you about something I really struggled with myself, but when I did kind of crack it and got over myself and got clarity. So there's two things really here, clarity and your own internal barriers. Then when you really kind of nail down your niche, it's so much in terms of running a business, in terms of attracting clients, in terms of marketing, in terms of being effective and efficient with social media, etc. Everything else gets a lot easier. So if you're not there yet, there is a lot of promise, I would say, on the other side of it. And it does take a lot, it does take effort, it does take work. Some people find it a lot easier than others. Some people know their niche before they even get into coaching. So let me just find out who's in the room. Let me see if who are the Irish in the room? Hands up, virtual hands or sure. Okay, good. And the screen I have at least half. That's good, because I've been outnumbered. We've been outnumbered before. I don't know. We've got a few more coming on. And who else in the UK? I'm getting a lot of you in the UK. Okay, anybody not in Ireland, the UK? And we've got any more? Someone teasing us from Malta or somewhere lovely. Maybe Anne, are you still in France? And coaches. So tell me, is anybody here? How many people are coaches? Coaches, nutrition coaches, wellness coaches, health coaches, or wellness? Okay, brilliant. Anyone not a coach, but they're kind of a wellness practitioner, a therapist, or more of an expert? Are we all kind of coming in under the badge of a coach who helps people make changes? Okay, so what I'm saying today will work really for wellness professionals, even if you're not a coach, but it's kind of my niche is predominantly coaches and wellness practitioners. Okay, so I have some slides, but I'll get them short, but help me to give a structure. But let me just get a sense of who here has been working, who here has struggled with finding their niche. Teresa, Olga, Andrew, Tina, kind of, Eddie. Okay, there's a lot of you. Yeah, that's kind of why you're here. Anyone got it? Let me put in the chat box. What did you come up against? What do you find hard? What's the biggest challenge you face in terms of nailing down that niche? Where's my chat box? Who here feels, well, it can help a lot of people narrowing the focus? Yeah. So, okay, good. Who are your clients? Lots to figure out, isn't it? Yeah. Commitment, change of mind. The market is very busy. Okay. One of the reasons we need a niche is because the health coaching market is kind of getting saturated. When I started this whole thing, I was one of the first people in Ireland to be trained as a health coach. So that health coaching itself was a niche back then. But now, being a health coach isn't as nichey. I'm going to make up some words, niching and nichey, as I go along. So they're not as kind of effective. You have to get more specialized. Yeah, hard to know whether to actually specialize or help as many as kind of perfect. That's a really common one. And then you're at the start of your journey. Yeah. So when you're relatively new, who here has found, like, maybe who here has done some research and found that, okay, niche, look back over all the clients you've had and, kind of categorize them, what is the similar problems they've had, and you're starting out, or you've got very different clients. I was a very generic coach, well, and I still am to some extent, but I also have at least one niche. So sometimes when you're starting out, you don't have like dozens of clients to go back, oh, I seem to be attracting several of these people, so, or this kind of problem. So sometimes you're at the start, it's just generally very hard, but it doesn't have to prevent you. I'm going to give you tips as to that as we go forward. Okay. Let me just pull up the slides. I get a bit of a structure on this. Oh yeah, I haven't even introduced myself. This shabby stuff here. So nailing down your niche. There was a slide there a little bit of me. For those of you who don't know me, sorry, I was kind of making an assumption. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Shane Pearson. My slide has gone missing. Okay, so I've been trained as a health and wellness coach, a human potential coach. I have a background in NLP. I also studied nutritional therapy. I've been training health and wellness coaches for 6 or 7 years. Previously trained NLP practitioners, and in the last few years, I've been my niche has become helping train coaches and wellness professionals make that transition from when you get your certificate, you get qualified. And a lot of people, I really enjoy training coaches, and people I've trained in it usually love it because it's if it's the right course for them, they get a lot from it personally, and they start to see, wow, I could do an awful lot of good with this, and they can't wait to get out there. And then just like me, who had the same experience, you get your certificate, you get your qualification, and then you just think you get a website up, and next minute you're going to have this flow of clients and everything's going to be rosy, only to find it's not that easy. And now with my experience as an academic in the academia, also from starting my own business and building my own clientele, I realized there's just not the time. Oh, someone's trying to get in. There's just not the time available in an academic course to train you in how to build your business. Usually there's a little bit built in if you're lucky with a course, but it's kind of lip service to just how immense it is. And there's a lot of internal barriers along the way as well. So now my niche that I nailed down, or one of them anyway, is helping to train coaches who make that shift and get all the pieces in place. So you have a strategy, you're clear inside and out, and you have this the clarity as to what to do now to start building your business. And one of those very important pieces that really helps earlier on in this process is nailing down a niche. I'll explain that as we go. Did someone come in? Anyone want to ask me a question there? Okay, so this is what I used to think. People you hear about niche, and I found it really kind of unclear, and I was struggling. And then, it was actually during some coaching, I talked about really finding the ideal environment. So if you think of a niche, think of nature. If you go for a walk in the woods, I live beside the woods right now, and what I'll see there is this deciduous forest. And at the moment, there's no leaves in the tree. So there's gentle light flooding in every day to the forest floor. So what's popping up now are these, what were completely invisible for months, are these millions, or probably tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of bluebells. Now they're not in flower yet, but they come into flower just as the new leaves are forming. They found their niche on the forest floor where they come up and they just come into flower and they do their thing that look absolutely beautiful. For those of you who know what a walk in the woods, the beech woods with a carpet of bluebells is like. And so they found their niche on the forest floor at this particular time of year when there's no competition for the light. And after they do their thing, the canopy closes, it gets darker, and they kind of retreat back into the ground and become invisible. And they store all their energy in the bulb waiting for the next year. So they found a niche. And this little Finding Nemo fish here, clownfish, his niche is hanging about in these, they're actually poisonous tentacles of an anemone, a sea anemone, I think they're called. But other plants are toxic, but it's not toxic to the clownfish. So its niche is kind of nestled in amongst there, and it's safe. Otherwise, it just probably get eaten by a bigger fish. So thinking of that, is that helpful for you to say, So thinking of your niche is really about you finding the ideal conditions where you can thrive. And a big part of that is with the people you will interact with.
Mhm.
So I'm hearing, I'm getting seeing a non-verbal nod. So what does someone take? Does something open up from that insight for someone, or can I get a response?
Can I can I say, for me, I think that when I mean, I've worked a lot in online marketing, and I think my difficulty with the niche is that obviously you find your ideal client. You can't be everything to everyone, but if you niche down, you will mop up other clients as well, perhaps. But it's knowing, I mean, there's lots of different niches within coaching and health, but everywhere online at the moment, everybody's, claiming to be this, that, and the other. There's mixed messaging on there, and people who haven't got a qualification. And so if you go into how do you stand out, how do you get rid of all the noise and stand out, I suppose.
Okay, good question. There's a slide coming up, I think, to help me with that. So you're right, there's a lot of noise. And just think about it as well. We're all incredibly resilient beings. So we, in the more recent history, we've become very resilient to the noise of marketing. When I was a kid, there was television and there was 5 stations. We were lucky in Ireland, so only had 2. And there was a bit of TV, and then there was a break. And most of those ads were just terrible and not for me anyway. So things have changed now. We go onto Facebook, and everybody's trying to get your attention. We're not Facebook. We're going onto a device. You go onto a TV or a phone or computer. The whole world is trying to get your attention. They're trying to get your attention for a little bit of time, and they're getting really sophisticated at it. So how do we stand out is really, I think, the process of becoming clear in yourself, in who you are, knowing the value that you bring and to who you bring it to. When you have that, I encourage, the people I mentor is to be consistent with a message, because you'll see people out there and they're trying to catch today's latest trend. Fair play to you if you've got that kind of agility and devotion to follow trends. But if you kind of just step back and no, this is what I've been through. This is what I'm really good at. This is how I can help people. And these are the kind of people I help. And if you can just get comfortable with that, stick with that, and come from that in an authentic and powerful way with the intention, these are the people I want to serve. I genuinely want to improve people's life. I genuinely want to help these people. And then if you move into an attitude of serve, don't sell, that's been really powerful for me. When you're not selling, you're serving, you've identified your niche, you know who your ideal client is, you know what you offer, what you can bring, and you know the value that you can bring to these people. Then you can come from that and consistently communicate and serve those people. When you might communicate with content, and then you might, like I'm trying to serve you all powerfully today. That's how I'm selling me. Because if I can serve you, you will remember. And if I can't, you'll remember that, and you'll find someone else who is closer to your niche. So part of that process, Teresa, is really an inner process, and where we can lose time and energy is getting hung up trying to be like someone else, trying to copy. We go, okay, I need to find my niche, and you go online and then you start following people, and maybe I should be more like this person and this person. Oh, that's a really good idea. I should do this. And we get distracted by the noise, like everybody else is getting distracted. When in the world we're in now, and I don't know how many of you have dipped into things like ChatGPT or have noticed the changes, but artificial intelligence is here. It's going to be an awful lot more noise, and most of it is going to be from robots from now on. So human connection is powerful, and that is going to be a more finite resource and more in demand. So being able to know what you embody, come from that, and somehow this is where coaching is. I have to mute someone. If you're not muted, just check that you probably not really see. Sorry about that. So like part of the process is getting to that. It's like condensing, doing some work to kind of refine your essence and getting clear on your essence and what you could distill or concentrate down in you. What is the most powerful or most important thing you bring, and know who it's for, and then start being more targeted and start, rather than trying to reach everybody, is just be comfortable with who you are, who you help, and kind of ignoring the rest. Let me just go over here. This is what a powerful thing I learned along the way, and it's related to what we're talking about here now, is for you to be attractive. Who wants to be attractive? Who wants to be attractive? How do you want to attract clients? Who wants to attract clients? So we want to be more attractive, don't we? Now, the way to think about your force, your attractive energy, being more attractive is like a magnet. If you want to be attractive and attract clients, you're going to increase that charge. What will happen is, just like a magnet, you're going to have the polar. You're going to push more people away than you attract. And that's one of the things that really holds us back, is that we are afraid of really kind of committing or going for one niche, because we kind of know that that's pushing other people away. That's going to be excluding others. So being exclusive, we all want to be part of an exclusive club, maybe not all of us, but there's an attraction in being part of an exclusive club, or being on an exclusive guest list or VIP. So that excludes most people. And you really want to be getting comfortable with, when you start developing a niche, you're actually going to be pushing more and more people away. Now, the reason that is useful is because if you're pushing people away, you're attractive, you're getting more attractive, but to less people. And that's what a niche does. It's like it increases your charge on your magnet, and that some people will become more attracted to that and others will be pushed away. And that brings up our stuff. Who here knows what I'm talking about? Who here knows that, oh, there's a bit of resistance comes because if I commit to this, or if I'm going to commit to this kind of niche, or if I niche down here, what about those other people I can help? What about, I might lose clients? What about if people might know, maybe as a prospect over here, or prospect over there that I don't get? Who here gets that logical resistance? Pushing people away is not good for, you're trying to get clients here, not push more people away. Put in the chat if we can resonate with this. Yeah, you only want around 20 clients. Like 20 clients at one time is a lot to manage. So that's ruled. I don't know if it's a percentage. And now if you have a kind of an internet access and you're able to go online, maybe English speaking, you're talking like potentially 1 billion people. So think of that now. You're trying to exclude millions of, hundreds of millions of people. And that brings up our stuff. We all like to be liked. It takes courage to take these steps and go, okay, right. And here's another thing is, if you get your niche wrong, like I have done in the past, when I got marketing help before I got coaching help on this, was you get it wrong. It's no big deal. We can learn quickly. We can all learn on our feet. But it's this process of picking something, being willing to push people away, and also to turn people away. You maybe get someone on a call and you realize, you know what, they're actually not my ideal client. It's like, right, you might have a conversation. I actually don't think I'm a good fit for you. Now, you may not go straight there, but that's what you're trying to get to. You're trying to get to a point where you're excluding most people. And like, I've had those conversations, and it's like, oh, I want to serve that person. So I tell them that I don't think I'm the right person for you, but I'd love to help them find a good fit for them. So you can continue to serve, and they remember that, and you might get a recommendation from it. So there's something powerful in being more selective, and you're more attractive to. Actually, who here is married or has a partner? At the start, what made your partner attractive to you? Was it because they were the same as everybody else? Or did they stand out? What was it? So think about that. What made them more attractive, and what might make you more attractive? Now, let's pull back a bit into our own experience. Let's focus on your own wisdom. Have you ever found someone who you believe, right, this person has definitely, the right person, or this is the right college, this is the right company, this is the right person, this is the right place. You found that fit. Anyone got an experience ever can remember? It's like, you just knew. It's like, brilliant. I'll be exploring that one today. So let's have some, I want some feedback here. Thinking about what attracted you to a company, to a course, to maybe even on this call, there was something attractive about it, something that it spoke to you with. Or maybe you have as an expert you follow. Maybe there's an influencer that you really trust and respect. What makes them attractive? Anyone, just throw an example in there. Just put it in the chat box. Well, what makes it? Just have to be, because things sometimes it's like a sound of a person's voice. It could be their communication style. It could be they're consistent with their posts. It could be compassion. It could be clarity, or it could be leadership. I enjoyed this because of thank you, Mandy. When it feels like we're on the same wavelength, Emma, okay. They promote what you connect with at the time. At the time, good. So they're hitting you with something. So therefore, authenticity, that's a value that you might have. And I think that in today's, I would recommend authenticity, because we're getting into a very generic world with a lot of hype and a flooded market. And people are craving just authenticity. And I think that's going to get increased. Where it hurts, okay. Yeah, okay, good. That's very important, is what you connect with at the time. So one of the reasons is that we all consciously, if we're in pain, if you have a stone in your shoe, anyone here, I've actually have a toothache the last few days. Who here has got a stone? Imagine if you had a stone in your shoe, what would you really, where would your attention be? On your foot. And you'll be highly motivated to get out of that pain. Now, it's as simple if it means taking off your shoe and taking out the stone. It's a simple fix. But some of those shoes are harder to remove than others. And think of that story about the lion with the thorn in its foot. Isn't there is that a Bible story or an Aesop's fable? There's an angry lion, but he has a thorn in his foot, and then someone comes along and takes out the thorn from him. That's really what's going to make you attractive, is if you can anticipate what people, where they're hurting, what problems they face. Okay. And when you can communicate, I think today from an authentic place, and compassion as well. I think authenticity and compassion are where the humanness of health coaches will stand out. So if you can communicate to someone who is in pain of some sort, connect with them where they are at, and help them so that they rate, oh my goodness, this person knows what I'm feeling. This person knows this problem. And then if they're doing it with compassion and if they also communicate that there's a way out of this problem, there's a way to get this thorn out of my foot, and then they start convincing you that, wow, this person knows what I'm feeling, or understands this problem I have, understands this pain I'm in, or understands what I'm, this is the spot I'm in, and they know the way out. And they've done it themselves, or they've helped other people do it, or they help other people do it. That's going to be interesting for them. I say, wow, I could get rid of this stone out of my shoe. If I had that stone in my shoe, that'd be really, really interesting for me. Now, if that person seemed to be authentic and was there to serve me, not sell to me, I was genuinely interested in helping me get that stone off my foot. Now I'm building connection, building rapport. So when you get into that kind of level of communication, you're beginning to, the people are beginning to focus in on you and separate you from the noise. And that's when you have engagement. Now, this is where let me just go back a few times. When you don't, so before you have your niche, you're out there, it's like, if you don't have a niche, you're often trying to communicate into the masses, right? As I just come up with this metaphor, it's like trying to promote or market yourself by walking through a crowded street with a megaphone going, hi, everybody, I'm a health coach. I'm a health coach. Come over to me. I've got something to share. I can help you with your energy. I can help you with your digestion. I can help you with your, I can help. And there's a lot of other megaphones going on around there too. So what we're actually trying to make a shift to is not being that way at all. What we want to do is identifying the niche, knowing who you want to work with, knowing who will value, knowing what clientele you will really thrive around, knowing what kind of people will help you, what kind of people will help bring out the best you, bring your gifts into the surface, into action. You know, if you can kind of get clear on that and then start find, so my target audience hang out here, or you invite the people who you know you can help into a Facebook group, or invite them into a call like this, and then you communicate them. When you nail down that niche and you can actively help them and you're serving them, and you can get them, it's more like being in a room where they're straining to hear the whisper, because they go, this person has wisdom. This person has something that I need. I really want to hear it. So that's a kind of analogy I like to think of. Separating out the noise, getting clear, and then attracting the right people, pushing most people away and attracting the right people close to you. And then we're going to talk about this other barrier of selling yourself. I'm just checking some messages here. So Suzanne has a good comment here. It's like influencers, they sound like experts. And this is where we're going to get into a lot more of this, because people now with ChatGPT, you can, or AI, you can quickly, the robots aren't experts, but they can act as if they're experts. And everybody now has access free to these amazing technologies. So how do you how do you kind of establish yourself as an expert? And perhaps build that trust so that clients will not just find you, but then will start to go to you for your wisdom. And ultimately, then they start to build this relationship and start to go, this is, you know, I really trust Suzanne. Suzanne's consistently, this is where it's the message for that I would say to you all here in this context is being consistent. Now, I don't want to bore people, and I think I'm at risk of boring some of my email lists with the niching. So, you don't want to bore them too much with the same thing, but if you don't understand their problem and you're communicating in creative ways and giving them more value, then they're going to be more likely to stay engaged with you. So influencers are usually generally reaching tens of thousands of people. I don't know, definitely thousands. Remember what Andrew said, you're only looking for 20 clients. If you're looking for one-to-one clients, it's a very intimate relationship, working especially with someone over time on a health challenge. So what you're trying to do there is just speak to people on a more intimate level, on a more one-to level. So you may have a wide funnel where you have get in front of a lot of people, but you're trying to bring that down so you have kind of genuine conversations. And I would say then, Suzanne, is like again, serve, don't sell. And when people realize you engage with them, and the skills, and this is what I do in the one-to-one mentoring, the skills in how we can generate conversations, we can generate interest, and then we can use messaging, we can support through messaging. At first, people are usually more likely to get to respond and to do a direct message on a Facebook post or a social media post. And then you can nurture them by serving them and helping them, powerfully serving them with your responses. And ultimately, you will try and build enough trust so they're willing to get on a call with you. And on a call with you, you can show you get a lot of value that you offer. And then they're going to really want to work with you. When they really want to work with you, you're talking about, just making an offer and then finding an offer that works for them. So that's kind of the pipeline. You start with your niche, and then you kind of start getting, when you find your niche, you think of, okay, the problems, we're going to talk about that soon. Really, when you have your niche, let me go back to this one. You're going to be communicating consistently with a message to your target audience around the problems that they're experiencing and solutions to it. And all these things starts to build. Number one, it's going to start they're going to start to make associations with you. Oh, there's Suzanne again with another post around this, or there's Shane again with a post around niche. I still haven't got nailed down my niche. And to make an association, and the more you do that, you're building a little kind of profile in their brain that Suzanne or Andrew or Therese or whoever are they're experts and they could help me in this with this problem or with this transformation that I'm looking for. Now, who here has trouble selling yourself? Imposter syndrome, I do. Okay, so I used to cringe at the thought of this, and then every so often pick up enough courage and I'd do something badly and then I couldn't retreat. And I was lucky I had a strong referral business and I was training coaches. So I never had to, go all out. But what I learned what I found really useful in all of this is, okay, definitely nailing down your niche and then coming from that place of authenticity and serve, don't sell. My attitude isn't, I'm trying to sell here. My attitude isn't trying to do be slick or hype, but my strategy is to know who I can help, show up powerfully, serve, give as much value as I can consistently. And that is one way that you can start building trust and building yourself, kind of establishing yourself as an online presence. If you're an expert, think of where you have the expertise and then be consistent with that communication. And over time, people get it, and you have to kind of drip feed people these days. So, but the drip feeding, over time, you're kind of like building up this kind of association, which builds trust. Now, selling yourself, rather than don't try and sell yourself. Try and serve your ideal client. Try and serve your audience. Try and serve your prospects. What I mean, serve is kind of help them. How can you help them? Because when you're coming from that place where you're genuinely helping, you start to build a trust, and from the trust, people are more open. I talked earlier on about all the noise, and people are becoming more resilient. We've all got good at switching off from the bombardment. And when you can soften people's guard, is by genuinely showing up and going, I'm here to help. I'm here to serve. I really want to help you. I'm clear in my mission. My mission is to help, blah, 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 get whatever. And that may lead to a sale. It may not. It may be a good time for you right now. And maybe you reach out and help someone now, and I'm going to come back for you in a year's time because you helped them, but it wasn't a good time for you to engage with you right now. So okay, and there's another point. I hate asking for money. Good. So this is where another part in the overall pipeline is often we get stuck. And let's be aware in terms of you're trying to grow your business. unconsciously, if you have that resistance to the money conversation, you'd be amazed at just how much you sabotage other things along the way. You might distract yourself, you might get busy, you might just put it off, you might just, you find other ways to protect yourself from the discomfort you will feel when it comes to the money conversation. Maybe if it's like the promoting yourself, if that's a block, you know, you're going to have these blocks, and it's just extraordinary how at an unconscious level we will sabotage yourself. So if you don't struggle with the selling yourself, you're quite good at that, but it's to struggle with your selling, hey, that's me for money, you will probably be struggling to sell yourself. So anyway, getting back to a way to think about this is, if you want to be authentic. When you're authentic, if you're authentic, how does that help you sell yourself without selling yourself? Well, I mean, can play with words there. How does being authentic help? Any ideas? Well, it's just not going to be the truth, isn't it? Love, yeah, you attract that back. Oh, yeah. You will attract. It's funny how that happens. People can identify, yes, okay. So I think we're moving into a place now where people are valuing you, coaches and people sharing their own vulnerabilities. So one of the things I say is own your story. And when you're willing to be authentic and share more about you, you don't have to share all the nitty gritty, but share an aspect about you, or maybe you're sharing more about who you've helped. You don't have to tell them who it was, obviously, but you know, I'm just off a call there with a client, and she's I'm just feeling so thrilled because she's bust through, or she's got her energy back, or she's had her first period now after 3 years, whatever it is that you do, and you can share that, and people love stories. But what I find when I'm kind of coaching and mentoring individuals like yourselves is that this is what happens. We go, we do a course to be a coach, to be a health coach, or we study for years or a year to be a nutrition coach. And you come out and your head's all full of stuff. And there's all these things you can do and all these people we can help. And what you forget, and what, not saying you've all forgotten this, but what we can forget, and I certainly did, was that I wasn't valuing the breakthroughs that I had along the way. Like, I struggled with my niche for years. And each time I try to nail it down a little bit more, I get the squeeze. It's like, really? It's like my body resists, and then I relax into it. So I've struggled with the niche. Your own story, like, I know what it's like. I remember, I was almost about to close down a niche, and then I just left it on pause. I procrastinated, wonderful saboteur. And then just as I was about to go with that, I thought, you know what? Maybe this other niche is even better. Anyone find themselves doing that? It's like, why would maybe I'm even better over here. I could serve them. And then I started researching that for a week or two. And then when I had time on my hands, and then you start becoming more like, yeah, this could be really work for me. And then you're just about to commit to that, and something bigger and brighter comes along. Oh, wow. Because that's what I'm going through right now. And I was doing this, and then you catch yourself, right? Sometimes it just takes a leap of faith or a coach to put you over the edge so that you go, right, commit to a niche, and then let the niche tell you, tell you if they value you, if you get it right. So owning your story, but think about the breakthroughs you have had. So what drew you into, anyone got a story, a health story that you've had a transformation in your own health? And maybe often it's what brought you into studying in health coaching in the first place. Maybe you've had to overcome a chronic illness, or, change your entire diet, change your lifestyle. Maybe you were close to burnout and lost all your energy, and now you're back like a spring chicken about to go running around the mountains before breakfast on the 1st of March. I don't know. Okay, good, Olga. So if you've got a transformation like that, you may have forgotten it. Okay, there you have a story, Rebecca. So people love stories. Now, even if you don't share your story, if you just really embody, go, you know what? Oh yeah, there was a time before I realized, anyone just give me a category there. It's like, here's a burnout. I once had mini burnout. Luckily, it didn't get too bad, but it was low thyroid. You didn't have my mojo. I just wake up in the morning thinking, yeah, it's going to be go. I just didn't have my I call it my mojo, that little extra bit of oomph in the day. I constantly felt cold. Not constantly, but I wanted to be really warm. The thought of going out and going for a run in the cold was, oh my God, I want to sit in the sauna and just do nothing. And I kept wanting to push myself, and it was quite an exciting time in my life, and I kept wanting to push myself, and I have to put it off. So burnout from corporate. So often you're lacking energy. You wish you had the fuel in the tank to just go, but and then you start developing. If it gets worse, burnout leads to demotivation. You can start to feel depressed. If you don't have enough energy in your body for your cells to run, your brain can't work properly. You get brain fog. You start functioning at a worse level you did before. Like if you can relate to any of these things and know that, if you've been there and know that, wow, you can communicate directly to people in an authentic way who are in that place now. So your ideal client is the former you, because you can come from your own experience and go, this is what I've been through. Or I remember whenever I had burnout. I remember when my hormonal balance was all over the place. I wake up in the morning and you can anticipate the problems other people have. This is where you can get very powerful speaking to your niche. You can speak to them directly about what they are experiencing now. Now, the only benefit of that is, I have this line from Friends, and what's it called? The goofy girl in Friends, the blonde girl. She was kind of a Phoebe. Yeah, so Phoebe, she actually used it in her audition for to get Friends. She goes about all this kind of challenges she had in her life. Then I was, my mom and dad separated, and I was an only child, and I was left in the streets, and I had this disease, and blah blah blah. And then she goes, but then I found aromatherapy, So it was like, ta-da, in a Phoebe way. It was like the magic fairy dust. So you have your own fairy dust, but yours, that's going to be your expertise. It's like, this was where it was. I was in the trenches. I know what it was like, and how hard it was to just get into face another day, or the overwhelm, for being a mom and having a job and having kids and responsibilities, or whatever it was, or on menopause, or whatever it is and can identify with. And then you can speak about the transformation you've made, because if you're not there now, you bridge that gap from the suffering you were in, or from the pain you were in, the discomfort you were in, to where you are now. That's a powerful story. And that's something that you're an expert in, even if you haven't got an actual, shiny certificate from the Wellness Evolution School of Excellence saying that I am a burnout specialist coach with 7 letters after my name, or 3 is even better. So you are an expert in your life. You're going to own that stuff, and we start to relate to that and come to that. Or if it's not you, if you've helped other people from these and made that transformation. So the way to think about what you're selling is, you're not selling yourself. People aren't interested in you. People, get over it. It's not about you. Another really powerful thing is, when you're speaking, you're not speaking about you. I used to fall in this trap. I'm a health coach. I do this. I went to this college. I studied this. People don't care. Sorry, it's okay. Just get over it. People are more interested in themselves, and they're more interested in what you can offer them, to what's of value to them. So what's of massive value to people in terms of their health is the transformation from where they are now to where you can help them get to. And that is that's going to be, think of that as the transformation that you're selling. It's not another 6 sessions of this. It's not work with me for 3 months, or you get access to my digital assets or my content, or you got to start thinking about the transformation they're looking for, where they are now, where they want to get to. And that transformation, that gap from A to B, is where the coach can really come in powerfully and start to communicate to the niche. And so that the niche goes, wow, that is what I want. I can have that instead of this. Now you've got something to sell. Does that make sense? But until you've got that, it doesn't have the same power. So if you nail down your niche, what will happen is you will find it so much easier to start communicating. And you don't have to market yourself. You just have to express yourself more fully. more authentically, more honestly, more openly, more courageously to the people who are craving to hear your message. And what is your message? Your message is, you know where they are. You get that. It's for them, they've been stuck in it. They think it's only them, they're the only person in the world with this, or they're just, you know, it's a very personal experience. You're going, hey, I know that world, or I've been there myself, or I've helped people where you are. I know it's tough. I know how hard it can be, and there's a way. And this is which is where you get clear then on your offer. So when you have your niche, you know where their pain points are, you know where they need help, you know how you can help them, and then you start to create your offer around that. And your offer is a program, a 3-month program, or it's a combination of sessions, or it's a combination of your skill set. Some of you will have, who here has got extra badges other than the coaching? You've got nutrition in there, you've got yoga, or you've got mindfulness, or you've got aromatherapy, or you've got wood carving skills, or so what will happen now is you can start to blend together your skill set in part that makes you authentic and unique. It sets you apart, and it'll attract some and push people away. And that's really where you can get clear on an offer that you bring to the market. So when you have your niche, it's like you know where to go. You either go to a busy street, you go to the hangout where your target audience is. When you're in there, you talk to them consistently with a message of that, hey, there's a transformation possible here, and I can help you with that. And that transformation, I know where you are now, that sucks, but this is possible. And you sell the vision, you help them enroll themselves in the vision that life could be better for them. And so to wrap it up, not to wrap it up, but to come to an end of this, then who here would agree that if you get to that point where you know your niche, you've got them in front of you, you know your message, where you can offer the value authentically, you're coming from that, you're serving that, and you're just, how do you say, and you're expressing yourself fully, because you're just owning your own story, you're owning your own skill set, you're not blabbing or not making up hype, you're not pretending, and you're serving them powerfully. You know the transformation is possible, and you believe that they deserve this transformation too. Who here believe that would make things a hell of a lot easier in terms of marketing yourself? Yeah. Anybody not? Okay, makes sense. Yep. So that is the kind of promise. So where are you stuck? So really, in simple terms, your niche is like, who do you help? What problem do you solve? So who here is stuck on the who do you help? Anyone like some help on who here is stuck on who you help? Want some help with that, Teresa? Just unmute more and tell me about that.
Yeah, so for me, I mean, my ideal client is myself, and I know that, and I've known that for a long time. But you know, it's kind of like, even that niche is quite broad, and you know, and it's just it's everywhere, all over, everywhere, and it's just like, again, it comes back to, you know, there's so much noise out there. How do you kind of like?
Okay. Yeah, sorry, Teresa. You said, you said that you are your ideal client.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. What have you made a transformation? What health, or is there, what have you overcome? What have you already done?
So for me, you know, over probably, several years, I went through my sort of, from being a very healthy and fit person and and then I went through the menopause. It completely changed everything, you know, physically, emotionally, and in lots of ways. And what I've struggled with most is that weight gain, and that, you know, that the changes in your metabolism, and that's, you know, and I've now overcome that, and this is part of the reason why I did the course. But that's exactly what I want to say. Look, you don't have to put on 3 stone, and you know, you don't have to accept that. You can, this is what you need to do. That's, yeah. I know exactly who I want to target. And also,
Okay.
then the other thing then is, you know, if you put a website up or you have an online presence, do you make your, you know, you've got Davina McCall selling all over Facebook about the menopause. You know, it's just where you know, you can't possibly compete with these people when they're selling like join my program for £19 a month or whatever
Okay,
it is.
good, yeah. I hear you good. Teresa, are you happy to work with people one-to-one?
Oh, yes, but ideally, I would rather leverage my time and, you know, offer packages, courses with one-to-one support, you know, or online. I mean, either way, you know, I'm quite happy to do that because I've got so much experience online. I can do a package or a group or
Fantastic. Okay.
one-to-one.
So there's your kind of product forming here. What you all need to hear is that if you're distracted by, you know, Davina McCall's or the experts in functional medicine or wherever you're in your world, don't try and compete with them. What is finite is you and your time is in your time with someone. Now you can leverage that and have a program that has content and have a group call, or you can have one-to-one support sessions, or you can have a package. So you just need to be clever about this and remember that what is really valuable is people have access to you. Again, I tell you that human connection, people are craving human connection. They need to be heard.
Mm.
They need to feel understood, and they need a bit of hand-holding and guidance, because, you know, we've all access to more information than we've ever had before. But you've took you 3 years, you said. You could probably help. Maybe your promise is bring it right down to 3 months, because you can condense that knowledge. So you said that your whole life changed physically, emotionally, mentally. So get clear on those changes.
Yeah.
Write that down. Write your story. I used to physically this, mentally this, and then this happened. I was fit, I was strong, I was healthy, I was functioning, and then this happened. And it doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah.
And just as you get into your unique story, not everybody experiences menopause or anything the same way.
Mm.
So you will find there's a uniqueness in your story, and that will attract people who are going through that at this time.
Yeah.
But Davina McCall is not available to millions of people. She's only through a video, only not one-to-one. So this is how we've got no excuses. And you're fine. You will find once you get busy that it's very hard to. You only have people. It's very hard to give yourself access one-to-one with a lot of people. It's very finite. And that is the value. Do not underestimate that, because that is where I think you can continue in this world of noise to separate yourself out. But it does take a bit of courage, and you know, menopause it's a growing market, but that's because there's a lot of people suffering with menopause, and you don't need 4,000. You only need probably maybe like 10 or 20 clients at a time. That helped, Teresa?
Yes, definitely. Thank you. It comes down to confidence, and you know, it's just like you say. It's probably the best thing I could do is just write my story. You know? It's
one of the things I get my clients to do it. It was one of the most powerful things I've done, and it really like this. Don't be humble. Write it all down. It's for you. Acknowledge your own breakthroughs. Write it all down. Get clear on that, and from that we start to pull out. Okay, here's a core message. You know, and the core message makes everything easy.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So there's the who. So and also think about who do you want to hang around with? Who do you like working with? Your idea. Think of the clients. You know, do you want them to be punctual, high achievers, or are you kind of the more vulnerable people? Are you happy to do a bit of hand holding, or do you want people to really just take it and run with it? Or think of the qualities you might want them to possess. But think about where you have thrived in the past as well. Remember that. Go back to the niche, the ideal environment. Really important to just be okay with things like, yeah, that doesn't suit me. There's some over time, you start to realize that, you know, there's some clients that don't really, they don't bring out the best in you, and vice versa. So you get better being selective. So there's clues in that as to who, but really is really you're talking about this problem that you solve. When you know who to help, and this is where, if you just say, I help middle-aged women, you know, and menopause, but what problem do you solve? Get really specific, because they're going to go menopause over their head. What maybe it's the stubborn fat and weight gain, or get really clear. How does that impact them? Don't think of this. You got to get in under the skin. It's like, going back to when I just mentioned my kind of little bit minute burnout before. It's like, I really wanted to get on with life. I was so excited about life, but I just didn't have it in the tank. And I didn't know what was wrong with me. I kept thinking it was just, I'm a bit tired. And then I started to notice all these symptoms over time. And eventually, through diet and lack of exercise, rest and a recovery, I pulled myself back. You could get in under the skin of what it was like for people, how frustrating, the frustrations they have. They're doing, maybe they're putting a lot of effort in to lose weight or not gain weight, and it's happening anyway. That's so frustrating. Clients hate that. They're doing they're going above and beyond the call of duty, and they're still getting crappy results. So think if that's the pain, what's the pain they're really feeling? Okay, so when you have a category that hits a lot of people, oh yeah, the way to remember this is act if you're speaking to one person. Get the ideal avatar in your head, get the ideal client in your head, get the form of you in your head, and talk to them. All your communication is to one person. Okay, I'm talking to one person right now, even though there's like, I don't know how many people there's 13 on the call. So talking to one person makes it really personal. The more personal it is, the more people will kind of more like to get it. Coming up on the hour. So diabetes. Okay, so what I can offer is if you're interested in working with me one-to-one, I do free kind of discovery calls. And this one will be kind of a strategy call in case of this. And this is where I could coach you and help you kind of identify, get a clear plan. So even if you don't decide not to work with me, from that call, you should have a very much better idea. Okay, this is where one of the benefits I think I bring is because I put all the pieces in place. Sometimes I've wasted energy at different times. Before I had my niche, I was marketing, and before I had my offer, I had my niche. I didn't have an offer. So there's things I know now you need to have in place. I know what works and what doesn't. So I might be able to help you identify what doesn't work and save you a lot of time, even if you don't choose to work with me. So I'm going to follow up this, and there'll be an invitation to book in for a free call. I can probably handle about 2 a week at most at the moment. There'll be a link there. Go get in touch. And also, who here would be interested in something like a Kickstart Your Business, like a short, maybe a lower level entry, so not too pricey. I'm thinking, so after Easter, I'm kind of planning some group coaching, Kickstart Your Business, where we kind of go in deeper into this, but not into a full business training, enough to get you clear, so you get you out there attracting clients and getting more experience, and starting having the experience, like the money conversations, the messaging, the content, and find something that works. So if you're interested in that, I'll put a little kind of opt-in email in the follow-up to this as well, so that you can apply for that. And it'll be after Easter. I haven't got dates or pricing in place yet. And let me know how else I can help. I'd love to know how to do these events. I've had a really crazy start to the year. Some of you will know the closure of college, etc. So let me know how I can help. Reach out to me if you're not sure. You can send me emails. You might get me on Facebook. Get me better on Facebook now, LinkedIn. My details are here. You can give me a call, take down the numbers. I'll send you the slides as well in the follow-up. So someone give me what are you taking away? Is there someone's help me summarize the session? What are you taking away from the call? Take home. What's your take home? Something useful that for us all to remember. It's a great way for just get started. Yeah, a lot will flow when you get into that niche. It's so much will open for me personally, open up for me and my clients. Just get started. Perfect. Anybody else want the last word? Well, then it's the ideal time is the form of use. So lots of good stuff there. Brilliant. Okay, thank you all so much. I didn't mind you seeing all the comments. You know how hard it is for me to multitask. I'm a man, I'm afraid. So the absolute pleasure. Thank you for all the contributions, for all the messages. Sorry if I didn't get anything. Reach out to me if I have a question I can help with, and I will try and serve you and not sell you. And I look forward to having you on another call, and I'll be in touch. Thank you all. Have a great day. Best of luck nailing down that niche and getting your business off the ground. Thanks so much, everybody. I'll send out a recording to you all as well.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, Shane.
Bye.
Okay.
See you, Eddie.